Heather Gibbs sat with Samantha Busch, not as a broadcaster, not as a team executive, as someone who had already lived through this exact darkness, because 3.5 years ago, Heather Gibbs got the same phone call. And what she told Samantha in that room about grief, about faith, about the moment no one else can feel, is something every fan who loved Kyle Busch needs to hear. This is the story behind the story. Kyle Busch and Joe Gibbs Racing shared 15 years together, 2 championships, a legacy built lap by lap. When Busch passed away on May 21st, 2026, tributes poured in across the sport, including from his former teammate Denny Hamlin. But tributes are easy. Sitting with a grieving widow is not. Heather Gibbs did the harder thing. She showed up for Samantha Busch in person in the rawest days of loss. Here's what happened. Heather shared details of that visit on the podcast Business Motorsports, posted by Dirty Mo Media. She walked through what she told Samantha, word for word. Samantha asked her the only question that mattered. What's it going to be like? Heather didn't soften it. It absolutely sucks. It's awful, she told her. Her heart broke saying it out loud. But then she gave Samantha something to hold on to. She told her the kids are watching how their mom carries this. And she told her where the strength would have to come from. You have to have a relationship with the Lord. You have to trust him, Gibbs said, not as a platitude, as something she tested herself in her own darkest days. He is going to walk with you through the darkest moments which we are in right now, and through the highest moments and back through the dark moments, she told Samantha. And then the line that stops you. If you are not going to have that foundation, you are going to be lost. You are going to be bitter and empty, and no one on earth can fulfill that. Read that again. No one on earth can fulfill that. Here's why Heather Gibbs could say those words and mean every one of them. In November 2022, her family lived this same nightmare. Her son Ty Gibbs had just won the Xfinity Series Championship. The family celebrated. It was the most special night. Her husband Coy Gibbs died in his sleep hours later. He didn't wake up the next day. Heather couldn't process it. The highest moment of their lives, and then, without warning, everything changed. It was obviously awful, she said. That's not a comparison drawn for effect. That's the exact experience Heather Gibbs was speaking from when she sat with Samantha Busch. After Coy's death, Heather stepped into a bigger leadership role at Joe Gibbs Racing, not because she sought it out, because of a letter. Coy had written it, expressing his belief in her abilities. She found it after he was gone. It was like a blessing to have that to go back and read it, she told NBC Sports. He believed in me in that area. That letter became part of how she found her footing. And now that same resilience is what she brought into the room with Samantha. So how is Samantha Busch actually doing? She's not making public appearances. The source doesn't explain why, and we won't guess. But she is present. She's showing up for her kids and for the fans on her own terms through social media. She shares pieces of her life. She thanks the community for the love poured into Rowdy. She brings Brexton to the racetrack, making sure his racing dream stays alive. That dream carries Kyle's legacy forward, one lap at a time. On Father's Day, she posted something for Kyle, a tribute to the father of Lennox and Brexton. Her words that day showed exactly what Heather Gibbs had told her to expect. The mornings still come. The strength has to be found, not felt. Grief doesn't stop parenting, Samantha wrote. The morning still comes. There are questions to answer, tears to wipe away, races to get to, bedtime stories to read, and 2 kids trying to make sense of a loss that no child should ever have to face. Then she said something even more honest. People keep asking me how I stay so strong. The truth is, I don't feel strong most days. I miss Kyle every second of every day. I want to curl up in a ball and cry, but she doesn't get to stop. Not because she's not allowed to grieve, because 2 kids are still waking up needing her. I'm a mom, she wrote. Brexton and Lennox still need hugs, comfort, laughter, routines, and someone to help carry their hurting hearts while mine is shattered. That's the sentence that stays with you. While mine is shattered, this is the real story behind every trib you've seen since May. It's not about a broadcast brood mentioning his name once, then moving on. It's about a widow parenting through grief in real time. It's about another NASCAR wife who lived it first, showing up to hand her the only thing that helped: faith, presence, someone who already walked the road. Brexton is still racing. Samantha is still raising 2 kids on the values she and Kyle built together. And Heather Gibbs, who buried her own husband in the middle of her family's biggest celebration, is now the person other NASCAR families turn to when the unthinkable happens. Here's the single most important thing to take from this. Grief in this sport doesn't end when the cameras leave. It's carried by the people left behind. And sometimes by the people who survived it before and show up anyway. Here's the angle you probably haven't considered. Heather Gibbs isn't just a JGR executive anymore. She's become something the garage never planned for. The person NASCAR families call when tragedy hits closest to home. So here's the question worth sitting with. When a sport built on speed and competition suddenly has to grieve one of its own, is it the team, the trophies, or the people like Heather Gibbs who actually hold the community together? If you want to see how the Busch family and this sport keeps carrying Kyle's legacy forward, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because Samantha and Brexton's story is still being written. One race, one Father's Day post, one hard morning at a time.